Obama did not do nearly enough to free American college tourist Otto Warmbier, who was imprisoned in North Korea for stealing a poster. President Trump is the one who freed the 22-year-old Ohio resident. However, Warmbier had been beaten and abused so badly, he suffered extensive brain damage and died on Monday. Why didn't Obama do more to bring Otto home, so he could have had a fighting chance at life? Instead, Obama spent his time freeing felons from U.S. prisons, while an innocent Otto had the life beaten and tortured out of him. Sickening. Obama has the blood of Otto on his hands. That's his legacy. From Breitbart. Mr. Warmbier was strongly critical of the Obama administration's handling of his son's case, however. When Otto was first taken, we were advised by the past administration to take a low profile while they worked to obtain his release. We did so, without result, he said. Earlier this year, Cindy and I decided the time for strategic patience was over, and we made a few media appearances and traveled to Washington to meet with Ambassador Joe Yun at the State Department, he continued. It is my understanding that Ambassador Yun and his team, at the direction of the president, aggressively pursued resolution of the situation. They have our thanks for bringing Otto home. Asked by a reporter if he felt the Obama administration should have done more to help, Warmbier replied, I think the results speak for themselves. We've been to Washington, D.C., over a dozen times. We met everyone in the past administration from John Kerry to the Swedish ambassador, Sternloff, who lives in Pyongyang. He came in town, we met his aide when he came in town. We've met our senators, our congressmen. We've worked with Governor Richardson, he said, referring to former New Mexico Governor Bill Richardson, who also served as U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. Those were our efforts. We relied on this false premise that they would treat Otto fairly and would let him go, Warmbier said. Otto was held as a war criminal. They termed his confinement as a war criminal. We did what we could. We tried to stay low. We were advised that it was important that you don't upset the North Koreans. We followed that logic. There came a time that doesn't seem to have any impact. So we went public with an interview on Tucker Carlson's show, and then did a couple of written pieces, and then very quickly we have Otto home, he said. Asked if he had ever been granted a face-to-face interview with President Obama, Warmbier said, "Oh, never, never. Absolutely not. No." Warmbier was also highly critical of extreme tourism operations like the one his son patronized, Young Pioneer Tours. The North Koreans lure Americans to travel to North Korea via tour groups run out of China, who advertise slick ads on the internet claiming no American ever gets detained off of our tours, and this is a safe place to go. So Otto's a young thrill-seeking great kid who was going to be in that part of the world for a college experience and said, hey, I've had some friends who have done this, I'd like to do this. So we agreed to let him do that. They lure Americans, and then they take them hostage, and then they do things to them, he warned. That's what happened to my son.